Hello guys, Problematic Boy, YouTube, Problematic Boy here, coming at you from the darkness. I'm gonna make a video today on just the new and improved Bleed Rehan. Now, I will say it's still bugged, so I'm not gonna recommend the build to anybody. It's still a bugged build. If you don't know, you can just check some of my other videos explaining and demonstrating the bug. But I am taking the Bleed build to 100. That's my current goal. Currently at 97.74%. So we've been chugging along. I think I've gotten about what did I start at 24% today? So I've gotten to about 50%, and I guess I'll do a demonstration. I was kind of not going to, but it's Bleed Ground Shaker. It's just like the build I played in Season 1, except I've changed it around a little bit and updated it and made some improvements. So, yeah. Let's do an obscured plateau. I'm just going to roll the map. Yeah, so I wanted to go back to Bleed, even though it is bugged. Because it is just what I enjoy the most. And if I was going to take anything to 100, which for some reason I'm motivated to get a character to 100, I don't know why, it would have to be Bleed. So, we're just doing it on the Bleed. Just spamming T7s. Oh, sorry guys, I have to do this. I'm going for XP, even though I'm not going to give up my XP, not even in the video. So, yeah, we're on Anger Rahan. I should probably say that. It's Anger Rahan, of course. Ground Shaker. And once again, I'll say, only play this build if you just want to try something a little bit unique. And just keep in mind it is bugged, but if you want to play Bleed build, I suppose this is the one way to do melee Bleed right now, so. Okay, let's just run through here. Took a little longer than expected because of the trial. There's the boss down, just a T7 map boss, was a T7, and I'll go over fairly quickly. The gear is actually kind of similar to the way you would run Ignite, but there's some Bleed specific things. First off, you can see I'm dual wielding. I have finally decided that dual wielding is better. So we'll go into how you would craft the main hand and the offhand. Fool's Crown is extremely good because it adds the physical damage to the main hand weapon, and physical damage of main hand weapon is how we're getting our base bleed damage. So that's extremely good. Here we just have an active skill level chest that's not even finished. Here we have an active skill level. Now I'm fine actually with all the tiers on this item, on this amulet, except the affliction effect should be T1. The res is just what I need, right? Fire and erosion. The base plate on the amulet isn't super important, so I went with T2, and life is whatever for me. But we have the active skill level on it. Eventually, this will have to be a recraft for T1. Affliction effect, and once Blade gets fixed, Reap on hit is also pretty good, but I need to keep the res, I think. Praise of Bloods, of course. A great strength belt with elemental res, erosion res, affliction effect, blur effect, and great strength. Like I said, this main hand weapon damage is how we're scaling our bleed, so that is very good. These boots are the King's Boon boots. You get more of less and a reap. Now, I'm probably going to swap these boots out later on, but right now they're great, and there's no reason to swap them, especially when I'm just going for just spamming T7 maps for 100. Reins need to be recrafted. T1 ailment damage, of course. T1 reaping duration, I mean, is pretty good. But I also want affliction effect on both reins. So they'll eventually need to be recrafted. I need affliction effect. The best rings, of course, are Reaping Duration, Affliction Effect, T1 Ailment Damage, and Reaping Cooldown Recovery Speed. Now, I want to say the rings are the last thing you should probably do because they're expensive as shit because you have to hit an Ominous on them. So, if you do plan on like playing or crafting for the build, there's that. Okay, let's talk about the main hand axe. They're different crafts. Let's move my camera so that we actually see everything. The main hand axe. This is the one that's scaling off that physical damage. You need this mod at T1 always. Do not craft. If you're going to craft, you need this one always at T1. I have a silly mod here that's not T1. That probably could be T1, but since it was the same as the basically T1 Essence craft, I was like, yeah, I'll just keep it. We have an Ominous on here that could be Truth Embered for the gear physical damage. Affliction Effect. T1 not super important here on the Affliction Effect, but here's the big ones. Reap 1 second dot damage, you need that, and you need T1 Reap cooldown recovery speed on the axe. Suffixes do not change on the offhand axe, but the prefixes do. So we'll talk about, you want base bleed damage, added base bleed. You want this mod again of the physical damage of the main hand weapon to base bleed damage, because this stacks. So you want this. This is a filler because we're trying to Ominous it desperately. We're going for +2 melee skill level, but I also think physical damage against low life enemies might even be better. So I do want to try both. We have Affliction Effect, and of course it's the T1s that we need here. Reap and cooldown recovery speed, and Reap because the suffixes are the same. Now, crit damage might be better than Affliction Effect, so keep that in mind, that I might be swapping when I recraft these at some point. When I feel the need to recraft them, I might be swapping this suffix from Affliction Effect to crit damage, because that's how crit damage is ailment damage. Over the talents are basically what you would do for Blade. We have Brutality. Here I'm running Automatic Upgrade because I'm getting Fervor from Shadow Dancer, and Automatic Upgrade is just some defense. Let me move my camera again so that we can see. And then we're going to do a slow pan. Take the bleed stuff. Take the ailment damage. Take this down here. Bleed damage, bleed duration. Bleed damage dealt by crits. And the life regain. Shadow Dancer, here's our main one. We get Ambition here. This is the best talent in that row. And then you absolutely need Open Wounds. You could go Versatile for a little bit faster mapping, but you lose way too much damage, by the way. You lose way too much. And I'm just showing here. I think my next point's going to go into this life, but I also got a lot of points in attack speed because this doesn't really... I need to change this. This up here is not really good. Okay, and then Warlock is the big one, because Vile is very important. I will be looking, one of the main upgrades for the build is going for a Vile Great Strength Belt, so I can go Psychic. Psychic talent as my main talent. But right now, we're running Warlock until we get to that point. Vile is just great. Additional ailment damage for 3% of crit and double duration. Can't be beat. And Off the Beaten Track is great for our auras and great for Reaping Agony. So we use that. And do a little slow pan. Take all the good ailment stuff. Talk about skills. Currently only viable melee skill for Bleed is Ground Shaker. This might change when Bleed gets changed, if Bleed gets changed. Let's move my camera again. Ooh, now we're down here. Because the way you have to play Bleed now is you have to hit once, and you can't use Steep Strike skills because you need to hit multiple times. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, we have a 26 Ground Shaker, which is currently giving me 1,500 weapon attack damage. That's insane, because that's scaling the Bleed. I'm running Quick Return because you need to run Quick Return because of the Bleed bug. It's so that your Ground Shaker hits last, basically, so that it applies to the most recent ailment. This just seems to make my Blade more consistent. Steamroll, because it's the most ailment damage. Deep Wounds, because it's the most bleed damage. Enhanced Ailment, because it's the most ailment damage. And then Reaping Agony, just to get a reap. And it Also has only a 2-second cooldown that is affected by reaping cooldown recovery speed, which is really good. And we have reap duration and all that stuff because it's bleed, so that's great. Bloodthirst, leap, blink, and resurrection war cry. Bull's rage does not work. Here we're running a precise deep pain to get affliction. Affliction generation, very important. Weapon amp for attack speed and additional fizz. Acuteness for additional fizz. That's really the most important thing. Restrained to get everything, make sure everything's good. And then selfishness, which I'm still leveling it up. I just got it because I forgot selfishness existed. But yes, it does exist and is good. So we're getting an extra aura effect on our weapon amp and our deep pain. I still don't have a precise curse on hit, but I do have one. I just haven't put it on. I don't think it's on this character. No, it's not. It's on some other character, but this should be precise, vulnerability, abysmal, and magical. And then I'm running an auto defense with Stone Skin and Delayed Pain. You can run Frost Shield. The issue with Frost Shield is that it bleeds the enemy and does like 0 bleed damage. So you don't really want that on. Okay, so this is the skills. I went over gear real quick. What else? What else do I want to talk about? Is there anything to talk about? Oh, traits. Standard traits. Frenzy Furious. Rage on crit. And then Reverberation. Doesn't really do much for us. I'm running Hero Memory Effect. Harden and Mark here. Oh, let's move over again. Ooh, now we're in the normal position. I'm running a Blur on crits. Chaotic Oracle, just because it's nice. I like to have Blur while mapping, and I crit, so I get Blur on crit. Weapon damage, additional bleed damage. This is probably the best for damage that you can get. And then, I don't even have like the 6% weapon damage here, but yeah, it's there. So that is it, I think. Thank you so much for watching. Once bleed gets fixed, I'm going to go nuts, of course. I'm going to go absolutely crazy with fine-tuning this build. I want to get max finished gear on it. That's basically what we're working on right now. And yeah, DeWild has turned out to be very good. And I'm very excited for when bleed finally gets fixed. Thank you so much for watching. Only a 12-minute video. Short for a Problematic Boy build demonstration. But thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.